in that area and you're thinking about 10K months, 15K months, it feels quite far away, but it's the little tweaks that make the biggest difference. And it's me being able to see that as your mentor that allows you to do that. Hello, gorgeous lady. Welcome back to Higher Self and I hope you're well. I am back in the studio and it feels so good. I love being in this sort of setup. It really just amplifies the feels of the podcast. And a lot of these podcasts, yes, they're audio, but you can actually watch them live video. I mean, they're not live, but you can watch them via video on my YouTube channel, which I'll pop in the show notes too. So I just wanted to let you know that yes, I'm here in your ears, but if you are more of a visual learner and you do want to see me record the podcast with the audio and the video, you can get it on YouTube as well. So let's dive in today. Today, we're talking about the 3 pillars of scaling your business. And I have taken so many clients through these 3 particular pillars. Now, it happened quite naturally because I work with clients so bespokely because everyone's different. And I think this is such a big part of my passion and my messaging is I don't want everyone doing the same as I am. I don't want everyone writing the same content that I am. I don't want all of my clients thinking that they need to do it the same way that I've done it, that they want to do it. I want it to feel so bespoke to that client. And a lot of my clients come in around the 2,000 to 3,000K per month consistent cash. So they've been doing really well in their business. They've been signing clients. It may feel a little bit fluky for them right now, but they've been hitting that consistent £2,000, £3,000, dollars, wherever you are in the world, that sort of revenue. And when they come in, they actually feel really stagnant. They feel really stuck. And it almost feels like not only are they stuck in the comfort zone of their business right now, but they're finding it really hard to understand how they scale to that next level, that next step. And for them, usually that next step is $10,000 to £15,000, dollars per month. And as we were going along, and I've taken many, many clients through my one-to-one mentorship now, hundreds as a number, probably 200, over 200 people now since I started. And I started to see these common themes that were coming up again and again and again. And these common themes have now become the 3 pillars that I truly believe are the 3 steps for you to scale your business. Now, right now, I am speaking to the person who is hitting 2 to 3K cash months, but actually I've had women into my containers, into my mentorship containers who have been hitting 10K, 20K, and a lot of the time, these 3 pillars are exactly the same. And that's why I love it so much, because yes, it is kind of structured, but within those pillars, it can look very different. So like I said, a lot of my clients come to me and they are feeling stuck, they are feeling stagnant, and actually they're running their business in a very scrappy way. You know how much I talk about becoming the CEO of your business. I think there's such a taboo around that and how that feels for us, because it's not something we concentrate on right at the beginning, right? We believe that getting content is the very first place that we need to start. It was definitely the first place that I thought I needed to start. Getting really good at content, because yes, of course, you and your platform and social media and your brand and your content are going to attract clients. However, what happens, and this is usually when my clients come to me, is the clients come in and then the rest of your business suffers because you're so thick in the clients that you have no time to actually work on your business. And because you've been quite scrappy, I was scrappy too. Because you've been quite scrappy, the back end of your business, your systems, your CEO operations, the way that you hold yourself and your boundaries are a bit of a mess. And what happens is burnout, which I see a lot. A lot of people come to me after they've had burnout and they're ready to kind of get back into the business bandwagon, but build their business in a different way. Or it happens where you hit 10K. And also, I have a lot of clients who have hit a big money month and then have not been able to sustain it. So they've hit 10K, they've hit 15K, and then they've never hit it again, and they can't work out why. And a lot of the time it comes down to these 3 pillars. So I really wanted to dive into them today to give you an understanding of what I actually do inside my mentorship containers, because I think it's really important to see the different aspects of business that allow you to scale. And for me, more than anything, is helping my clients to create a business that not only allows them to truly tap into the passion and to the joy and the happiness of their business day in, day out. It's entrepreneurship. There's always going to be ebbs and flows, but be able to sustain that, be able to sustain the wealth, and to actually grow a life around their business. Because quite frankly, when I was growing my business, I lost my life and my health went out the window. I've spoke about this on a couple of podcasts before, but a lot of things went down the pan because I was so focused on my business. And I am so passionate about helping women to create a subconscious platform, to create a foundation in their business that holds them, that makes them feel safe, that is the glass, and then they can be the water, they can flow. I attract a lot of women who love to kind of be in that flow energy and love to, have the download of content, get it out there. Oh my God, I've just had another idea. However, when you're stepping into the CEO of your business, and especially if you want to step into running a multi-6-figure business, multi-7-figure business, whatever your dream is, you're going to need the foundations below. And these 3 foundations are: number 1, next level mindset. Of course, I was always going to start with mindset. Now, a lot of the time when clients come to me, I hear them say things such as, can I really have a 6-figure business? Like, can I really make that happen? I'll probably never make the money that I want to make. Is my success just a bit of luck? Have I fluked my way through this already? That imposter syndrome really comes up, and then the feeling of actually holding themselves in that next level. And a lot of that comes down to the subconscious beliefs that you have been programmed with since you were born. Ages of 0 to 7 is where we take on our biggest imprints. So when a client first starts with me in a mentorship container, the very first thing I do is look at their mindset, because that is really the foundations of your business. Yes, we've got the other 2 pillars that I'm going to be speaking about today, but that really is the foundation, is the subconscious work that we do, because your subconscious wants to keep you safe. So right now, what's happening, I would hazard a guess, is you've created a business where you actually feel quite safe in the business, which is fine. You know exactly what you did and what you're doing. And yes, it's scrappy, but it's working. So it feels safe. You've done it a lot of times. So therefore, doing something different is going to feel very unsafe. And scaling requires you to do something different. No longer can you live in the scrappy way. No longer can you live from day to day. I have so many clients who say to me like, oh, Beck, like I just kind of wake up, twiddle my thumbs, decide what I'm going to do, maybe put a piece of content out there and off I go. And, granted, I know that's where a lot of you are, because the podcast that I put out not long ago about decision fatigue, that was probably the most amount of comments and DMs that I've had from one podcast. So I know a lot of you are flying by the seat of your pants right now. And I do not want that, especially for your mindset, because what's happening and what I explained in that podcast is when we're in that decision fatigue and you are in that scrappy sense and you are being quite messy in your business, which we're allowed to be, business can be messy, but when you don't have the foundations underneath that to hold you in that, your subconscious is going to be on high alert. The amygdala is going to pop in and it's going to take you into fight or flight, which means that you're constantly in that stress. Your nervous system is shot. Everything is triggering you. Comparison is left, right, and center. The only thing that feels safe is to scroll through TikTok and Instagram. You can't even decide what to do next tomorrow or what to eat, because the decisions you're trying to make in your business is driving you into this constant loop of stress. We don't want that, especially when you're scaling your business. It is a very different mindset. It's a very different way of holding yourself. It requires authority. It requires leadership. It requires you really, really, really believing in yourself. And more than anything, it requires trust. Because as we start to scale, your trust muscle is going to be flexed. And we're going to need you to trust yourself, to trust your decisions, to trust that you are creating this freaking reality for your life, for your family, for your friends, whatever your mission and purpose is. I love it. A lot of my clients, one of their big goals, and the two of my clients come to mind actually, was to pay for a family holiday. They've both gone on and done that now, and it feels absolutely incredible because we created the safety in the amount of money and the amount of wealth coming in, the amount of clients coming in, the type of clients coming in. Hint, hint, I'm going to be speaking about that soon. We created safety around that. So the very first pillar that I go to is that next level mindset. We need to step into that next level CEO, the CEO that understands her business, that has that container to hold her in, the CEO who knows how she's going to handle 10, 15, 20, 50K months, the CEO who has trust around the money that she's holding, trust around the money that's coming in, trust around the money that's coming out. I found that a lot when I was scaling. Your outgoings grow, of course. So you need to create this trust within yourself, and that comes down to your subconscious. So right now, if you are looking to scale, if you're looking to grow a passive income, maybe if you're looking to really step into that next level CEO, what thoughts are currently pulling you back into that safety loop? I spoke about this on a podcast. I'll pop it in the show notes about the safety loop, that safety loop coming back. What's pulling you back into that safety loop? Because you're going to keep coming back to it because that next step feels unsafe. And so many beliefs come up when we're scaling. Of course, it feels unsafe. How many times do I have to say it? But when you've got a support network around you, especially as me as your coach and especially in Voxer, we break through those beliefs quite quickly to make your next level become your new normal. That's what we need to do. And we almost need to make it so normal that when you get there, it's almost like, yeah, I'm on 10K months. I'm on 15K months. And I've had that so often. My clients will get there, but because we've done the subconscious work for them to step into it, they message me and they're like, Beck, I've actually just hit a 10K. actually, no, it was 11 if I add this client. And it feels so neutral to them. It feels so natural to them because we've calibrated their mindset to that next level, which has allowed them to feel safe. That's what we're doing. That's the be all and end all, to be honest, of the subconscious mind. It's how can we take those subconscious beliefs and make you feel safe into that next level. So the very first pillar that I work on is next level mindset. From there, what I find, and a lot of the time when we start looking at the CEO that you want to be, a lot of the time when we start looking at that next level, it brings up the scrappiness that's currently happening in your business. So the next pillar that I usually move on to is CEO operations, baby. And I think the word operations, I've gone around a lot of words with this one when I was doing some work on the back end after I saw these themes coming up again and again and again. And I feel like operations can scare people because you're like, wow, that feels like a big word, operations. However, what I mean by that is you really understanding your business inside and out. It's not just the content you create. It's not just Instagram. Your business is not just Instagram. It's more than that. And it needs to be more than that if you want to go bigger, if you want to grow bigger, if you want to be bigger, if you want to be a speaker, if you want to be a host, a show host, I don't know. That came into my head, maybe because I want to be a presenter, but you have to look at the operations of your business for you to understand how we're going to grow it. We can't just live in this fluky look, decision fatigue place because it's not sustainable. You will not hold it. And actually, because when we're scaling, we need more of a community. We need more of an audience coming in, especially when you're growing the passive side of your business. That can't be down to luck. And I'm very much in the camp of organic. Yes, I've grown my whole business to multi-six-figure years for the last 3 years. I've grown my business to that through organic, but I know that there's strategic ways to do organic, and that is very much what I teach within my one-to-one, but also Facebook ads, paid marketing is very important to look into as well. And I'm in both camps. I love them both. And we've been doing both this year as well, testing them out, seeing what's happening. So let's go back to CEO operations. Now, like I said, many of my ideal clients, and what I mean by that is clients just before they work with me and I talk to them on a discovery call or in the DMs, or they fill out an application form for my one-to-one, they find themselves constantly busy. So it's like, I'm so busy with clients, I'm so busy with content, I feel like I never have any time, and they're that busy constantly, but not necessarily productive. Being the busy badge of honor for busy sake. And a lot of clients, when they come to me, their behaviors is almost trying to find things to do to prove that they're trying to move forwards. Or like, what if I add this on? Or maybe if I do this, or let's try that as well. And I should be doing this. There is no structure. There is no plan. There is no execution. There is no prioritizing the needle moving activities. So you just grab things from thin air and spend half an hour in Canva feeling like you're really doing something in the business when really you're not, are you? And don't worry, I was there. I'm telling you all of this from me being exactly in your shoes, in your wee little boots. I was there and being busy because I was like, well, I have no clue the strategy that I'm working towards, so I must do something. And a lot of the clients who come in are so busy in the business, serving clients, checking client work, doing client work, whatever that looks like for you, whether you're a coach, whether you're a service provider, whether you're a florist. I've worked with a lot of women. They're so busy in the business that they never have time to work on the business. And this is where you become overwhelmed with the day-to-day, tasks. You're struggling to plan and you're struggling to strategize for growth. So there's actually no direction at all. You're just getting up, deciding that today is another day that you write another piece of content, worrying about the audio of the reel that you're putting on, and that's about it. And kind of Instagram is the be all and end all of your business. And I lived like that for a lot of years, only to realize, wow, okay, like I need some strategy behind me. I need some real structured plan behind me for me to follow. And I say this, I used to go day by day, week by week, month by month, plodding along. It's that real plod through. Oh, well, okay, well, I might as well just sell this. And I'm thinking about doing this group course, but that feels a little bit scary. So I might just leave that and I'll just go back to selling this and I'll just do the same thing. And all of a sudden a year has gone by. It moves quick, time nowadays in my 31 year of age. I've never known time to move as quick as it's moved this year. So it gets away with us. We need to have that strategy, that plan behind us to really support us in that. So my goal with your CEO operations, part of my mentorship, is to take you from the scrappy business owner, which it's got you really far so far. So I love that you've been scrappy. I love that you've been messy. I love that you've been taking the action and throwing yourself in there. I freaking love working with tenacious action takers, those who are like ready to take the leap. Yes, it feels scary, but oh my God, I'm going to do it, because you will do it. Like, I know when I speak to a client who is in that space, and all of my clients are in that space because that's what I attract, because that's how I am. I'm like, God, this is going to work, because they're so aware, they're so self-aware, which means the mindset works. It means we switch and we have those real shift of reality so quickly, quantum leaps, whatever you want to call them. And they're ready to let go of the scrappy way, even though it feels unsafe. So I want to take you from scrappy business owner to confident CEO, where you show up and you're like, well, yeah, this is what I need to do for today, because this is my strategy for this week. And that ties into the strategy for the month, which ties into the strategy of the quarter. It's all so placed. And that, yes, of course, things are going to change and things shift and the industry shifts very quickly. But it allows you to have a structured plan underneath. I always talk about the kind of concrete blocks that we create. So we've got the concrete block of the subconscious, which is your next level mindset. The next one is your CEO operations, which is the plan and the structure, and another couple of things which I'm going to speak about in a minute, which actually allows you to have the structure in place, but also flow. If you want to put out a random offer, you can have a look at that, what's coming up, what's going on, and go, yeah, I can fit this in right now. I can do this. Okay, let's do it. So you can still be that flowy, I always say download, like, oh, well, I've got to download, whatever you say for that. I can't even think of another example, but you can still have those come in and feel excited about this offer that we didn't think about when we planned out Q3, and put it in because we have the structure underneath us. So this allows us to make space in your business, yes, to work in it and on it, but also allows you space to be a human, because we don't usually give ourselves chance to actually live our life when we're building our business. And I am all about working hard. Like I really hustled a lot, and I still work very, very hard. Now I don't hustle, I just work hard intentionally. So I still get to live my life. I still travel. I still take random days off. I still have that opportunity, but I've built a business that can work with or without me. There from a perspective of growth. Of course, my one-to-ones need me there, and that was the choice that I made, because I love working one-to-ones. That's why I've grown a multi-six-figure business until I launched the membership of this year. I've built a multi-six-figure business on one-to-ones alone, and there's so many people in the industry that pie that off and say like, oh, you shouldn't be having that many one-to-ones, and you should be working in like groups and yada yada. I didn't want to do that because I love one-to-ones, and it's where the magic happens for me, especially with the subconscious work that I do and the fact that I'm so freaking good at it. So that's how I wanted to build my business. So I built my business that way. It might look different to you, and that's what I love helping you with. So really understanding that being able to take a holiday without checking your emails, or having the confidence that your team are there for you, and that's something we're going to talk about in a minute. It's really understanding and prioritizing the needle moving activities, reviewing the operations that's going on in your business, setting up those standard operating procedures, your SOPs, implementing the structure, implementing the organization. And a lot of the time, this looks like boundaries with yourself. Probably one of the first things that I do is look at client boundaries, as in their own boundaries for them. And this can come down to like family, friends, work, whatever it is. We look at the boundaries within that, because 9 times out of 10, because you've been moving so scrappily, is that a word? I'm not sure. Because you've been scrappy in your business, your boundaries have bled left, right, and center. So really honing that in to preserve your energy so you can be the best CEO. Boundaries with their clients. So I look at the clients that they've got. What boundaries do we need in place in order for them to preserve their energy, and in order for them to really show up the best that they can be? We look at self-discipline, and I think this is one of the muscles that we really have to flex when we look at the CEO operations, because the scrappy way of doing things hasn't meant that you've need self-discipline, because it kind of comes from like a scrappy way. Whereas when we move into the CEO operations, self-discipline is actually really important. Are you doing your content when you need to be doing it, like when it needs to be batched? Are you taking the time out when you need to take the time out? Are you like, whatever you're doing in your business, the discipline, the self-discipline within that is very important. I think I might do a podcast episode on that. I'm going to make a note. Schedule is another thing that we look at. My clients' minds are blown when I tell them that I took my schedule to 1 client on week, 1 client off week. I've spoke about this a lot. It allows me to really truly dive into my business on those client off weeks. It's exactly what I've done this week. I've got so many projects ticked off this week because I've been in the energy that's in my business. Now, that timetable might not work for you. It doesn't for some of my clients, and we create a schedule and a timetable that works for them. Because they've got the boundaries, the clients then fit into their timetable. It's created space for them outside of the business. We've got in the business, we've got white space is what I call it. Really having a look at how you want your life to be and making the shift. Some of the biggest breakthroughs have come from us doing that within my container. How you like to work. We look at team members. A lot of my clients want that extra support with teams. So how do we need to get there in order to bring those team members in? One of my gorgeous 3-month clients came in and she really wanted a team member. Now, within the first month of us working together, she'd already gone from 2K to 5K, and because she was in that energy of really stepping into that CEO, she hired the team member within a month of us working together. And now she's added more hours onto that. And now we're working towards 10K. It doesn't have to take long. And I think this is the thing when you're in that area and you're thinking about 10K months, 15K months, it feels quite far away, but it's the little tweaks that make the biggest difference. And it's me being able to see that as your mentor that allows you to do that. So looking at your CEO operations, your boundaries, your discipline, being ahead of the curve, knowing what's coming on in Q4, Q1, what are we planning towards, having that breakdown month by month, week by week if you need it. What's your sales focus? What's your back end focus? All of these things are so important for you to be running and growing your business so it doesn't become stagnant. And that doesn't mean that we have to be growing the business all the time. You know, some of my clients say to me, Beck, like, I would just love to sit at this level for a little bit. And I'm like, cool, okay, let's go into maintenance. You know, how are we going to really truly step into the maintenance of what you've already achieved? We stay there for a while and then they're like, okay, I'm freaking ready, let's go. Why I love long-term membership. Why I love long-term mentorship so much, because the amount of up levels that I see my clients go through, especially in my 6 months, is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. The structure of your business, SOPs, team members, the CEO operations, and that, to be honest, is strategic, very strategic. There's a lot of strategy that I do within that, but it also is mindset. It has to be mindset with the discipline, with the habits, with things that you're bringing in. So that's the second pillar. Got a lot to say today. And then the third pillar is higher caliber growth. And what I mean by this is really stepping into the person that you want to talk to online, the client that you want to attract, who it is, the way that they are, the way that they show up, maybe even having a look at putting your prices up. You know, a lot of the time, the pinnacle that has shifted clients from 2, 3, 5K to 10K, 15K has been the higher caliber of client, which is really looking at you, your positioning, your messaging, and your content around that. Now, my business was very heavily in the content space. You know, I used to sell the Content Bible and sell Visibility Queen, and I would do a lot of mindset work within that, but actually most of it came down to how you speak to that client, how you attract them in, both from a mindset perspective of you feeling comfortable to attract that client, you feeling and trusting your qualifications, your knowledge, your skills, your years, whatever it is, and stepping into that to attract the client in. Now, what this allows us to have, what allows why can't I say this? What it allows us to do, what it allows us to do is for you to truly be the CEO that you want to be, because again, we've got those foundations, we've got the next level mindset, we've got the CEO operations, and then we crack on the positioning and authority and messaging around that. You're already in that, you're already feeling that energy of becoming that next level self. So when we add that on top, that is when the changes really start to happen. You're attracting a different type of client. Now, whether that's kind of a level on, I work in levels in my business. I'm not going to go into it too much because that's for my one-to-one clients, but I work in levels in my business, and actually speaking to a certain level of client really shifts the feelings and the energy of your audience. And this is what I teach inside my container. It's all about how we speak to that certain person that you want to bring in. It's the way that you show up for that, and it's the way that they receive that. I've done a full podcast episode on this, so I'll tag that below in the show notes. But really speaking to that higher caliber client, which not only allows you to step into the business owner that you want to be and work with the clients that you really want to work with, but it also means that prices can be higher, that your wealth can be built, that reoccurring revenue looks juicier. There's a lot of things that happen when we truly step into that. So that's the last pillar that I look at. Now, this could be it doesn't mean that, you know, at the end of the 6 months, that's when we're looking at. This all happens in the holistic view. It's not, okay, pillar 1 mindset, pillar 2 CEO, pillar 3. This kind of happens all together. It's so intertwined and it's so different for every single client, which is why my one-to-one container is so bespoke for the person, because it's their business, because they are the CEO, and because I understand them as a person, and we're getting them to understand themselves as a person, how they want it to be. These things filter in through sessions, through Voxer, and things happen quickly around Rebecca Haydon HQ. But yeah, that last pillar is really looking at that higher caliber growth. And when we start to speak to that higher caliber of client, that's when you can get the shifts, which then allows us to speak to another client level. Maybe it's a passive course that we're then working on. And then we look at, okay, how can we actually be doing things on the back end? How can we be filtering people through our social media? What sort of product suite do I have that's going to allow people to build through my products? All of this, again, comes down to the strategy behind it, and actually having a plan within your content of who you're speaking to, what you're selling, and what that looks like moving forwards. I always say that it takes about 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks for my audience to understand what I'm selling. Now, I could be selling it 4 weeks ago, but it takes the time for my audience and my community to come with me. So if you drop an offer out of the middle of fucking nowhere and then you're like, why isn't anyone buying? It's probably because you haven't allowed your community to come with you. You haven't allowed that to happen. And this is such an important part. Again, it goes back to that structure, to that planning, to that understanding, to that knowing you as a CEO and your business, because you are not your business. They're two separate entities. And I find that really, really helpful too. So that was a little insight into my one-to-one mentorship. I just love the work that I do with my clients from a subconscious perspective, but also from a mindset perspective. It's so incredible to see the changes that they go through. So if you've listened to this today and you fall into any of those categories, if you fall into the mindset category, if you fall into the CEO operations category, if you fall into the wanting to speak to a higher caliber of client and really get that social media growth, you know where I am. There's an application form in my show notes. Or if you just want to jump on a call or jump in the DMs and see if it's right for you, I'm more than happy to do that as well. I will see you on the next episode. Mwah.